Dr. Weiss coming to you from Paradise Med Spa and Wellness. Happy holidays! We're here with Meg Mescher from Renuvion, who you may remember because she's been a previous guest.
I was your first guest.
Woo! Well, if it wasn't COVID, I'd give you a little cheers, but we're distancing here. And Meg has quarantined for 14 days prior to coming on the show. She did it, but she'd actually had COVID previously.
I have. I'm like the safest person anybody could be around right now.
That's why we picked her.
That's right.
So happy holidays and happy new year. Hopefully you guys can all grab your own beverage and at home and join us on Facebook today. So Meg, thank you so much for coming back to the show.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
You're
always love to come in and talk about Renuvion.
One of our favorite guests.
Thank you.
And I've got my hat, you'll shoot your eye out hat, because we're going to be firing up some devices today, so I thought it was appropriate. Not a Red Rider, but you know. Yeah.
Fortunately, Renuvion is safe around the eyes.
Oh, that's good.
That's right.
That's good.
So we don't have to worry about shooting our eye out.
Glasses on, so yeah.
Safety goggles.
So Meg brought us this beautiful bottle of champagne. We thought we should do bubbly this time because
why not? It's
the
holidays.
Yeah, it's the holidays. So Meg, tell us about what you brought.
Well, this lovely bottle of cuvee comes from Spain, España, as we like to call it. It is Segura Viuda. And frankly, I'm not going to lie, I bought it because the bottle is really pretty. So
pretty. I picked it up at the store and I was like, this is gorgeous.
Yeah, and it just coincidentally happens to be a very good cuvee. We looked it up. And so 3.9 to 4.1 ratings on Vivino. But it's quite tasty.
It's delicious and effervescent.
Yes.
And fruity.
Yes, and fruity. Yes. A nose
Light
of
on the
apricot.
Nose of apricot. It does.
Yeah.
It actually
so,
does.
Anyway,
Yes.
there you have it. Check it out. What? It's like $19.99.
Yeah.
You know, it's like a $20 bottle of cuvee, so it won't break the bank, but very tasty, and you'll really impress your friends with the
Yes. And when it's done, you can fill it with a little bit of water and put some flowers in there.
Oh.
Yeah,
You're so creative.
Reduce, reuse, recycle.
No wonder you're so good at what you do.
So Meg,
Yes.
Meg is coming to us with a new hairdo. And I have to say, I love it. I have been obsessing over it since she did it. She almost let me do it, but then,
I was inspired.
She didn't. But so tell me exactly what inspired you, because the last time I saw you, you still had hair.
Well, yes. You know, honestly, I've always wanted to shave my head. I've always had, don't ask me why. I'm a little bit weird. I've always been a little weird. But my hair has been through a little bit of a transformation in the last 6 months. Just shaved one side and then kind of was letting the other grow. Anyway, I was just in a weird hair spot, and I thought if I'm ever going to do it, now's the time. And with COVID and everything else, it's kind of like, what do you have to lose if you hate it?
And you bought that gorgeous wig.
I know, and I was like, I can always wear a wig. If it's terrible, I'll just put a wig on.
You feel like, if you know, depending on the day, how you feel.
Exactly. So sometimes I have purple and black hair. Sometimes I have regular blonde hair.
Love it.
Sometimes I have crazy afro hair. It's super fun.
Well, you look incredible, and I love it. And so when I saw Meg last in the office, she still had some hair, and she was talking about doing this, and we discussed having me do it for her. But she met someone in the airport on her way home who had a shaved head, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And they got to talking, and she was inspired and went home that night and did it.
Yeah, she was a really lovely woman, and I said, can I ask you how long you've been shaving your head? And she said I shaved it 20 years ago, and I never looked back. So I will say there are a lot of benefits to having a shaved head. I won't get into it all now, but I mean, I'm literally ready in 10 minutes. Mm-hmm. No more hair products, no more blow drying, no more, you know, I mean, obviously I wash it, but you know, all that stuff, I can get in the swimming pool, I don't worry about a swimming cap. I mean, there's just a million things that you just don't think about that you're like, oh, I can put a hat on. Yeah. I don't worry about taking it off and having hat head.
Love it. So. Yes. So anyway, she's gorgeous no matter what, but she's rocking the new hairstyle.
Well, thank you.
So,
you too could shave your head.
I could, but I don't think I would look nearly as good. Yeah, I don't think I could pull that off. So let's talk a little bit. Well, before we get into Renuvion, I do need to tell you all the specials for the month of December here in Paradise, because we don't have my sidekick, Janet. So, hey Janet, we're missing you. So December savings in Paradise. It's apropos that we have Meg here with us today, because we are doing $350 off of Renuvion neck lift procedures.
Of which I've had, by the way.
Yeah, it looks great. I mean, look at that definition you have. And we will be posting some before and after pictures in the feed on Facebook underneath the video, so you guys can check those out. Some procedures that we did here in our office. But you just have to book your consult by the end of January in order to receive the promotion. We're also doing $99 HydraFacials this month, so get that holiday glow going. HydraFacials are like, you immediately have a gorgeous glow to your skin, no downtime, super hydrating, exfoliating.
Just pounds all that moisture into your skin.
Yes,
yeah.
Love it. And then stock up and save this month. All skincare products that we carry are 15% off. I just chose a smattering of some of my favorites. I
have to say, I freaking love this.
Yes.
It is so awesome. I use
Did
it
I get
every
you hooked
day.
on this?
You did. You got me hooked on it.
Love it. It's like a sunscreen. It's a concealer. It's an eye cream.
Moisturizer, all of it.
Everything. My very fave.
And the applicator is really cool. It has like a little cool flat applicator that you just kind of dab. It's awesome.
Helps to deep puff.
Yeah.
And then the Definage system is my absolute go-to for anyone looking for anti-aging regimens. Super simple regimen that you use 2 products in the morning, 2 products at night. I love that it keeps it simple. And it's effective. I got hooked on this within 2 weeks. I already saw a change in my skin. So this is already discounted as a package, but you'll get an additional 15% off this month. The Alpharet pads are a home chemical peel, a light chemical peel you do a couple times a week. Love that. Especially if you break out like I do with a little mask knee. So I was telling Meg, it's the first time anyone's seen me from the nose down without my mask. Of course, it's the day I break out with a couple of mask knee pimples. And then my favorite sunscreen is the Elastin Hydra Tint. Just a nice light tint. I don't even need to use foundation anymore. This is all I use. So anyway, these are some of my favorites, but every product that we have is 15% off this month. And then lastly, we are doing a $150 savings on the Prolon Diet. So get in, and if you're looking maybe after the holidays to shed some of the holiday weight, give us a call and you'll save $150. Okay, so those are the specials. So without further ado, let's discuss plasma energy, shall we?
Yes, let's.
So tell us how the Renuvion works.
I will, and I love that you brought out the plasma pen today too, because I do think just the word plasma, it gets thrown around quite a bit. And so the first thing to know is that plasma, there's 2 different types. There's gas plasma, which is what we're talking about today, and there's blood plasma, which is what we use when we spin blood down into PRP to do PRP facials and, injections and things like that. So that's
not talking about that kind
No, that's a different type of plasma. So today we're talking about gas plasma. Gas plasma is considered the 4th state of matter. Okay, you basically, you heat a solid into a liquid, you heat a liquid into a gas, and you heat a gas into a plasma. So you can make plasma from just about any type of gas that you want. People weld with plasma, people cut with plasma, people do a lot of things with plasma. What makes plasma unique are the gases that you're either mixing or using to create the plasma. So you can create plasma with just room air, which is what's done with the plasma pen, or you can create something called cold plasma, and that's what we're doing with Renuvion. We're ionizing helium, which is a very light, inert gas, and we're ionizing that into a cold plasma. Now, it's relative, the word cold. It's cold comparative to other types of energy, but it's still unique in that we're using this inert gas to create plasma. And one of the things that we sort of discovered by mistake, because originally the Renuvion device came out as a surgical tool, because it's very, very good at cutting through tissue without doing any thermal or heat damage to the things that are lying next to it. But inadvertently, what we found, kind of like with Botox and Latisse and a lot of these other things, is we've actually found out that it happens to be very, very good at contracting tissue. And so we had some surgeons that started using it in that way, and boom, here we are. It's being used now and optimized.
And how long has this been available? Because I've been using it for a couple of, I'm just going to turn this down. We've been using it for a couple of years.
Yeah.
So it's been used for cosmetic purposes for how long now?
So it's been used for cosmetic purposes now for probably 5 years.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, about 5 or 6 years now.
Yeah, because I was sort of following it for a while.
Yeah.
Sort of seeing what other doctors' experiences were before we purchased our device. But I mean, we're seeing amazing results with it. So we're super excited that that discovery happened.
Yes, we are too.
Yeah. So, okay.
Do you want me to show you how it works?
Yeah, let's see it.
Okay.
And then just to compare it, we also have the plasma pen here.
Right.
I liken the difference between these two devices as a blowtorch to a matchstick. So, very different devices. Explain what the difference, before you fire that up, explain what the difference is between that plasma energy and this plasma energy.
So as I was kind of explaining earlier, you can create plasma with different types of gases. And you can also create plasma from just room air. So carbon dioxide, oxygen, whatever's in our air that we're breathing right now, nitrogen. So when you're utilizing the plasma pen in this iteration, it's essentially creating a spark with the use of room air. So it's like micro cautery. It's creating, you need heat, as you know. You have to have heat to create collagen contraction. Without heat, you're not going to get that contraction. It's like, I think a great analogy for folks is, when you put a 1 pound burger on the grill, it doesn't come off as a 1 pound burger, right? It comes off maybe as a 3/4 of a pound burger.
Or I liken it to like a piece of bacon.
Sure.
When you put bacon and then it contracts, like your bacon gets smaller.
Exactly.
So it's the same kind of thing that's happening.
Same principle. So you absolutely have to have heat to create contraction. But the sort of slippery slope with heat is you want to have enough heat to create contraction, but not so much heat that you're going to do any harm.
Burn the skin.
Exactly, to burn the skin, right. So the plasma pen is great. It's used on the surface of the skin, right? And it doesn't require a lot of anesthetic, some topical numbing and that kind of thing. And you're basically creating little micro burns,
like
if you will.
Yeah, right. Teeny micro injuries to the skin.
Yeah.
And so in this case, you actually are burning the skin, but you're doing it in such small amounts that it heals very quickly. And it's fractionated, right? So you're leaving healthy tissue in between those little micro burns, and because you're leaving that healthy tissue, it allows the tissue to heal faster. With what we're doing with Renuvion, we're using Renuvion under the tissue, under the skin, so you won't have any external evidence of it, right? We're using it under the tissue to contract the tissue in that sense. And I can show you if you want. Let's see it.
So first, just so you can kind of see what the plasma looks like.
Now, for those of you who joined us the first time, we didn't have the grounding pad. We struggled. Now we got it together.
So this is plasma. This is what plasma looks like.
It's like lightning.
And like lightning. Essentially it is. It's kind of like lightning on a stick. And what makes plasma unique, this plasma especially, is that it's considered a non-contact energy, right? So with your plasma pen, for example, you have to touch that little needle to the skin to be able to affect any change. With plasma, you don't have to touch anything metal to the tissue. When you put that plasma under the skin, it's always trying to find that path of least resistance, and essentially you're creating a lightning storm in that pocket that you've created under the skin. And when that plasma, every time it touches something in that pocket, it's going to immediately superheat it to about 85 degrees centigrade, and then back down to baseline in less than a half a second.
And that's because of the helium gas.
It's a combination of different factors. Helium has something to do with it. Helium happens to be a very, very good heat sink. It's used in MRI magnets to cool magnets. It's used in the Hadron Collider where they split atoms in Europe. So helium is a very good heat sink. That's part of it. We also are typically tumesced. You've injected some numbing medicine in there. That numbing medicine typically is room temperature, so that's also pulling heat away.
Right.
And also just our own body, our natural blood. Is much cooler than 85 degrees centigrade, right? So we're sitting at 34, 36 degrees centigrade. So that's also sinking and pulling heat away. So there's several different factors, but also just the nature of the energy itself. So as soon as it touches those little bands that we're trying to shrink down, it immediately superheats and supercools them simultaneously. And then we're just moving on to different areas. And every time it contracts something, it no longer cares about it. So energy has this unique property where it always wants to find things that are more hydrated, find things that are less dense. That's why lightning is attracted to water, right? It's the same idea. It's water is less dense than ground. So it's the same principle. And every time it's already contracted something, that's now an outlier, and it moves on to the other things that it can find that still haven't been treated. So because of that, you get a really nice, very uniform treatment.
Because we make several passes
Yeah,
underneath the tissue,
exactly.
and so it's finding the untreated areas
exactly.
and treating those each time.
Preferentially,
yes,
preferentially. So anything that's been treated, it's like, I don't care about you anymore. I want to find the things that are hydrated. So that's what on another aspect of the device that make it very unique. And the safety profile is also unique because you're not having to bulk heat an area. So in other words, with other types of devices, you're in the tissue, and it's almost like boiling a pot of water, right? Where you might have little hot spots, but you're trying to boil the whole pot to get the whole pot of water to a certain temperature. With Renuvion, you don't have to worry about that because you're superheating and cooling everything at the same simultaneously.
Right.
So it's not a bulk heating or a cumulative heating device. So you don't have to worry about, do I have a hot spot? Am I getting hotter over here than over here? It's just not a factor.
And in previous devices, we didn't have that safety mechanism in place, and so occasionally, if you got really aggressive with those devices, you could get a little burn to the skin because it just would heat up.
Yes, and I think that brings up another great point, though, is that make sure you know your doctor, right? Make sure you trust your doctor, because it doesn't matter. I always say, you can hurt somebody with a spoon if you want to. So any device in the wrong hands has risks, sure, certainly. And so make sure you know who your doctor is and you trust your doctor, and that they are well trained and know what they're doing. Because you can turn Renuvion into a bulk heating device.
Sure,
if you wanted
just sit there
right,
with it all in one spot.
Yeah, you can absolutely do that if you want to. So nothing is foolproof.
So it's technique dependent.
It's technique dependent. Nothing is, as I said, nothing's foolproof. Nothing is guaranteed. But the overall picture is that it's very safe, very effective. And most people see results very, very quickly. I mean, I would say within 24 hours of the procedure, oftentimes you see results on the table.
Yes.
And then those results continue to improve over a 6 to 9 month period as we create new collagen in our tissue. So.
And I know what I kind of tell people, but when patients ask, well, how long does the result last?
So, do you want to speak to that, or do you want me to speak to it?
I'm just curious how you would answer that.
So, look, I think I wish we were all created exactly equally physiologically, because it would make those answers to those questions a lot easier, right?
Like,
but we're not.
Smoking? Right. Are you out in the sun all the time?
Do you drink cuvee from Spain?
Every night?
So there are a lot of different factors that come into play. Diet is a big one. Are you eating a nutritious diet? Do you go out in the sunshine a lot? Do you drink a lot? I mean, there's a lot of different things that will come into play with regard to how long it lasts. And also, the age you are when you have a Renuvion procedure matters, because the more collagen that you have to aggregate to that area, the longer lasting and more permanent that result's going to be too. So if you have it when you're 80, you're going to get a good result, but it might not be as profound and it might not last as long.
Yes.
And the bottom line is we're all aging from, so
and we're not stopping that.
We can't, unfortunately, hopefully I'm going to tap into the device that stops aging.
All right, let me know.
Because I'll be on an island in Tahiti when that happens. But right, it doesn't stop aging. So, for me personally, my goal, having my neck done, I'm 40, I'll be 49 in January.
Looking fabulous.
Well, thank you. I've had nothing done. My goal is that if I could avoid having an excisional procedure, like a procedure where I have to have skin cut, that's what I would like to avoid. So I would have Renuvion again in like 5 years if I need to, just so I can kind of maintain that. Of course. And because it's a quick procedure, I mean, my neck procedure, in the office, it takes about an hour to do this procedure. You're not uncomfortable for a long time, if at all. I mean, obviously there's a little bit of poking and prodding that feels a little strange, but you don't have any real pain. And so I think...
And the incisions are teeny. They're like, you can see...
This is actually a bigger... This is our demo device. So the actual one that is used on the necks is half that size. So I like to say if you think about a pencil eraser, the incisions are about half the size of a pencil eraser. So very, very small. And we hide them in conspicuous areas. You can't see mine. No. Yeah. So, right. But it's a great procedure, in and out, and not a lot of discomfort. And I think it's, bang for your buck. It's a fantastic option if you're looking for something that, you want a more profound kind of result, but you don't want to have to commit to 6 or 8 weeks of recovery, you know.
And we can combine this with a little bit of liposuction too. So if you've got a little submental fat, we can suction that out when we're already underneath in that layer. We can always suction out a little bit of fat at the same time. So I think it also prevents multiple procedures.
Sure.
Like where you're dealing with just fat with some procedures and then just skin contraction with other procedures.
Sure.
You know, this combines that all into one.
And you could combine it with your plasma pen too.
For more, if you have crepey skin.
Yeah, exactly.
This would be,
if you have lines that you don't like on your neck, I mean, you know,
like these kind.
Yeah, we all get them.
I did treat my chest with this and had a really nice result.
Yeah.
Just as an example, fire that up again on the metal. So you can see the difference between that. And then let's see what this looks like. See how teeny? It's like a spark. So you can see how much stronger the Renuvion plasma is compared to the plasma that we use more superficially. But you wouldn't necessarily want that in the treated. You wouldn't want to be treated in the same way.
Right, exactly.
With that. So
yeah, so I can show you just when you're using it subdermally. And don't worry, I am washing my hands. Yeah.
And you can hear the gas too.
Yeah, and you can see the change in the opacity of this chicken skin, how it becomes a lot more.
And she can touch that. That's not hot.
So you can see now how this has really tightened up. And what I also like to show is I can put my little blade out and cut this. I can show you that underneath there's no eschar, there's no burn, there's no
so she's not burning the underlying tissue.
There's no char here that we've just treated this whole area, right? And then you can really see the contraction.
Curls up. Yep. Now, in your clinical studies, how much skin contraction are we seeing?
We're seeing between 30 and 40% contraction, yeah. So you can see how nice and tight that is now, right? And the nice thing too, I personally feel is like because you're contracting that tissue, it does feel thicker and like it has more bounce back, more turgor to it. So I just think that from just the quality of your skin, of your tissue, you get a significant improvement as well. And especially in folks that have had significant weight loss, where their skin has been sort of stretched, to its max and then deflated. Renuvion is a great option for those folks too. Yeah. And
you can use it anywhere. I mean, our special that we're running this month is just on the neck, but honestly, Renuvion can be used anywhere you have skin.
Absolutely.
Are you all right using?
Oh yeah, I'm just gonna grab a little sanitizing wipe here.
Yeah, that's like a heavy wipe. You're gonna kill everything possible on your hands, including all of her skin. Okay, I just want to show just again in comparison what the plasma pen would look like. So typically we're treating sort of around wrinkles in a fractional pattern, so little dots like this, and it's definitely going to give a contraction, but it's going to be a little bit more subtle and over some time. But I love this device for use around the eyes, like at the real delicate areas, around the eyes, crepey skin on necks, around the lips.
So anywhere you have those fine lines and wrinkles.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now show us, Meg, what it looks like on the egg.
Oh, on the egg. No, on the egg. I was going to say I can also show you on the skin a little bit.
Sure, just as a comparison. And this device, it's not FDA approved for this purpose, but you know, it has been used on the skin for more aggressive resurfacing. And I think once we figure out a way to fractionate that energy, it's going to be amazing.
Yeah, so I'm
trying working on it.
If I put this here, you can really see. The contractions. Yeah, so stay tuned, in the future.
Yes. So this would obviously be a more aggressive resurfacing type of of a treatment, where Plasma Pen is going to be more of your
Very
delicate.
Mm-hmm.
And we sort of fractionate it by the way we use it, not sort of, instead of treating like
right
an entire, which obviously that's not very effective at doing that, because the tip is so thin. But believe it or not, this also gives a really nice result for treating wrinkles.
And it's pulsed a little bit too, I can tell,
Yep.
Which is cool. Yeah, and then just to show, I don't want to hurt my antlers. And then just to kind of show what this looks like on the egg, I have to turn it up a little though because I'm using it in my hand. So this just kind of gives you an example of how delicate the energy really is, and how self-limiting it really is, that you can sit and paint an area with this energy and really not do any real damage. So then I'll show you here. I might have my glasses on, I can't see.
Do you need help, Meg?
I can't see, I'm so blind.
There you go. So it just comes right off, and she didn't cook the bottom of the egg.
Yeah, you can still see the bottom here is still hydrated and moist and hasn't been affected by the energy at all. So that's a very unique property to Renuvion, is that it is a quote-unquote self-limiting type of energy.
I wonder what would happen if I fired this on there.
Let's try it. It's probably just going to stick to your... Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
You get a feel for what the difference is. So it's kind of doing the same thing, but it's doing it in teeny, teeny little increments. Obviously, you're not going to be able to pick those up with a forceps. There you go. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, so that's kind of how Renuvion works in a nutshell.
Oh, there's something screaming over there.
I know.
Anyway, well, thank you, Meg, for that demonstration. I really appreciate it. I think that's great for patients to see how well Renuvion works for skin contraction. What are you seeing as far as like the wow areas that people are treating with Renuvion? Yeah,
so necks are obviously really, really popular. Arms are really very popular as well. Yeah. So I mean, if you have some sagging skin under your arms, most people do not want the long scar of a brachioplasty, which would be the excisional skin surgical procedure that would need to be done. So arms are great. We get great results from arms. I would say abs and flanks are another area that we see a lot of. I mean, honestly, most places, knees are really popular.
Like the little fatty bit
little fatty, and then just like above the knees, as we get a little older, and they start to kind of fall a little bit.
And then you get that little like half moon shape.
Yes, I always like to say I would like my knees to look happier. So a little frowny face.
Instead of frown, you want to turn it around?
Yes.
Turn your frown upside down.
So I would say brow roll is another really popular area. So a lot of people do brow roll in conjunction with arms.
Yep.
And then
we would do like a little
the front
pre and
area.
post axillary.
Yep, exactly. So
and we treat when we treat a neck, oftentimes we will treat the lower face and jowl area as well for tightening.
I had mine. So when I had mine done, you come into this area here, and you treat basically from here
down
all the way.
Yep. Yeah. Exactly. So great results for even lower face.
Yeah, it is. It really is, especially when you're, our age, and we start to worry a little about the jowl area starting to get a little.
Women of a certain age.
Yes, women of a certain age.
We can't grow beard and hide it.
Well, some of us can.
Too much testosterone.
Yeah, make sure you have your pellets worked out.
I know, get that dosing worked out. We also do laser hair removal. Okay. All right, so if any of you have questions about the Renuvion procedure, about Plasma Pen, about plasma energy in general, about Meg's hair, about what we're drinking, about our monthly specials, please do chime in on the comment section below. And like I said, we will be posting some before and after pictures of both the Renuvion and the Plasma Pen in the comment section, so check those out. I hope you all have a happy holiday.
Yeah, happy holidays, happy Hanukkah.
Yeah,
happy
and
Christmas,
please stay
happy
healthy. Things are
Kwanzaa.
crazy. We haven't decided, so I can't really say. We always do our Wind Down Wednesday, airs the second Wednesday of every month at 4 p.m. on Facebook. We haven't worked out who our special guest is going to be for January. So stay tuned for that. We will make those announcements over the course of the next few weeks. So anyway, happy holidays to you and yours.
Cheers.
Happy New Year, and we will see you Wind Down Wednesday in January. Thanks, Meg.
Yeah.